Hi, I'm Beth Strathman. Welcome back to my channel. I did a recent video on the story you tell about yourself. And a big part of the story you tell about yourself is influenced by what's called your attachment style. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. Your attachment style is the way that you attach to or form attachments with other people and how you show up in those relationships that you form. Attachment theory grew out of research and psychology in the 1960s and 70s. So let's look at how your attachment style is formed. So in the first couple of years of your life, you form what's called the persona, which is the role that you play, R-O-L-E, the role that you play in life, or the role that you see yourself playing in your life. And through this role, the way you show up helps you navigate circumstances and relationships with people in a world that is sometimes, not hard, or that is hard to predict and has its ups and downs. So your attachment style, according to attachment theory, is your way of forming relationships and connecting with others. And your attachment style is heavily influenced by the way you related to and your parents related back to you when you were, again, a very young little critter, an infant, through toddlerhood, so the first 2 years of your life, let's say. So for humans and other mammals, since when we're born, we are not fully grown and fully equipped to deal with everything life might throw at us, we need to be nurtured and cared for by other people. And those other people are often our own parents. So no matter who your primary caregivers were, that relationship is the basis for forming the way you are going to attach for the rest of your life unless you change things. So your attachment style is really foundational to the way you see yourself in the world and to the way that you end up showing up into important relationships for the rest of your life. So by forming an adequate attachment with your parents, you learned a lot of things. You learned how to regulate your emotions. You learned how to soothe yourself. You learned how to explore and feel, confident. You learned how to express yourself. And basically, you learned how to engage with other people around you. Now, as an adult, your attachment style informs how you show up in important relationships, especially in intimate or romantic relationships. Now today, psychologists recognize 4 main attachment styles, and you can learn what your attachment style is. I'll put a link in the description so you can go to a website and do a quick online free quiz about that, or you can just search the internet and find another site that offers a free attachment style quiz. But we'll talk about in a minute why it's important for you to understand your attachment style, but just let me go very briefly over what the 4 attachment styles are. I'm not going to go into any depth. Again, I'll put a link in the description so that if you're interested, you can read a little bit more about each one of the attachment styles, particularly once you find out what your attachment style is by taking a quiz. So let's look at one of the attachment styles is secure attachment. And basically, if you established what is considered a secure attachment with your parents, that means that your parents were secure in themselves and they showed up for you. They were fairly responsive to your needs. Now, no parent's 100%, but for much of the time, they were very responsive. They were attentive. They helped you. Because of their responsiveness, they were emotionally intelligent in the way they responded with you much of the time. So those kinds of things account for creating a secure attachment. Consequently, as an adult, you show up in relationships as someone who is compassionate, caring, you can be depended upon by other people. Basically, you navigate relationships fairly well. The second type of attachment style is called an avoidant attachment style. And for people with an avoidant attachment style, they had parents who showed up, maybe not 100% of the time, but much of the time they showed up in a dismissive way or in a sort of an aloof way. They weren't always warm and caring and didn't always help the child to soothe themselves and work through their emotions when they were, in an emotional state. So if you're a person with an avoidant attachment style, when you show up in relationships, you really are more independent in relationships, not as comfortable with intimacy, and you have a hard time trusting other people, both in your personal life and at work. The next attachment style is an anxious attachment style, and this would be for people who had parents that showed up kind of inconsistently with them. They were often preoccupied, and sometimes they were very enmeshed and entangled with their children. So like overly involved, so to speak. If you're an adult with an anxious attachment style, you have a tendency to be jealous and also to be not trusting of others, like the avoidant style. But at the same time, you are also afraid of being rejected or abandoned. And the fourth attachment style is called either conflicted or disorganized. You'll see both of those terms. And these people with this kind of attachment style had parents who were very frightening, but at the same time, they were also frightened. So they were kind of both. So that's where it gets disorganized or conflicted. You get that moniker. They showed up very inconsistently, and at times their behavior, the parents' behavior, could be very alarming. So consequently, as an adult, people with the conflicted or disorganized style might have very confusing behaviors to people that they're in important relationships with. One day they'll show up very emotional, and the next day they'll be very aloof. And for people with this particular attachment style, it's not uncommon that they may have mood disorders and or personality disorders. So again, those are the 4 attachment styles. Again, there's a link in the description if you want to read more about them. That was a very brief overview of them. So identifying your attachment style can be very helpful to you as you mature and really get interested more in your own personal growth and development and becoming the best person you can becoming more of your authentic self. Because you can see how that initial relationship with parents is so formative for each one of us and really shapes how we show up in the world for much of our lives, and maybe all of our lives if we don't take note of it and try to overcome some of the challenges that are presented to us when we stay within and never break out of the attachment style that we've developed as kids. Once you know your attachment style, that gives you just valuable insights into your behavior. And then you can do something about it if that's what you choose to do. So with this self-awareness, then you're empowered to make changes, improve your communication, and cultivate healthier, better relationships for you in your life. This helps you further your own personal growth and development and become more or show signs of a more secure attachment type in general. So that's what I have to say about attachment styles and how they can benefit you and why they are so important for you to understand for yourself. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to like it and subscribe to my channel, and click on the bell to receive notifications every time I upload a new video. Thanks for watching.